Hello, welcome. So today we're going to learn something very different: image responsiveness and adjustment. So in this case, usually I have these issues when creating a section, and I believe some other persons have the same issue. Situations where we select a particular image that is longer than the section at the right, or the container at the right, or the content in the container at the right, or shorter than the content in the container at the right. So we see this extra space at the bottom part or extra space at the left side, which we are going to try two types of images: vertical rectangular image and horizontal rectangular image. As we have here, we have a horizontal rectangular image, but look at what we are looking to achieve, and we have a particular width that is equal to the height of the section next, the container next to it. So to do that, we are going to create this from scratch. So we are going to drop in a div, make the div to be full width, and in the full width we don't want any spacing, any padding, but we're going to come to that in a little while. So drop in a new div inside this one, and this other div also we're going to make it a full width. So we have two full width div, which is the section, the main one, which we don't want to control from. We select the second one. So in this second one, we are going to drop in a new container, and this container this time around we are going to duplicate it twice. So we're going to make this container twice duplicated, and this div that is guiding the two container inside, we are going to make its direction to be on a row horizontal, which means we want the two div to stack by their side, okay, side by side, not up and down. If we want it to stack up and down, we stack the div at the top and bottom. So we have these two containers. The first one is where we're going to drop in our image, and the second one we're going to drop in all our content from here. So in order not to waste much of our time, we can pick the this section, which is the frequently asked questions section. We're going to drop it right in here. So paste it in here, and we have that section from that layout. Now this section we have to make it full width usually, so we go to advanced size and spacing. Okay, let's go to layout. I think that's where we have to adjust that from, and we have what we have from these other parts. To make this more distinct, I would like us to make it a background of dark green. Forget about the design. Okay, we're not talking about design now. Forget about the design and the concept. Okay, I think this is too much of a bad design because there is no contrast at all. So let's choose a little lighter green. I think this works perfectly well. Perfect, fine. So now we have this contrast is loading, and we are going to drop in our image element from here. Usually how I do this before now is, okay, now let's just close out all padding around this div. So we select on this, close down the padding. We have eliminated that padding. Select on this other div, the div. We only eliminated the padding for the section. We select the div which we dropped after the section. We eliminate the padding, and we see where we don't have any padding from here. But let's see what happens when we drop in an image element from here. So we drop in an image element, we have padding. So we have to select the div guiding the image element, and we have to close down the padding, and everything stretches out. Without further ado, we still have the issue even without adding elements in the image div. So select on this, and we're going to choose an image that works perfectly well, that is going to work perfectly well. I think this image, I thought it would even work perfectly well, but it didn't, because you see the sizing we are having here, we are having an issue from this end. So what do we do from here? Usually before now, what I usually do, or what other people do, is to select the div itself, go to styling, add an image in the background, and this fixes the problem in most cases. But in most cases, it's a bigger problem, because when you start making your responsiveness, you start realizing that the image wouldn't make any sense. As you can see from the bottom part, we are having enough spacing from there. We can say, okay, we go to here, we make it center. We make the repeat to be no repeat, which is normal. Then we make the display to be cover. Usually it will spread out. But when we start getting more lower to a smaller breakpoint, we are going to be faced with a little critical problem, which is this. You see, the problem we are facing here now requires us to make a padding top and padding bottom. So we are going to come over here, and we are going to give a padding top and a padding bottom. This doesn't usually work well on mobile responsiveness. When you go to mobile responsiveness, you might notice in most cases it's still, the padding don't apply very well. It's still something like this on mobile. So you keep expanding, and it is not equal with the padding you get from other devices. So you get a different padding from a different device, making most part of the image not to show. That is why I cancel this formula. This one wouldn't work. So the best practice, we are going to select from what we have. So every padding we added already from this, we are going to cancel that or close that out. So clear all padding you have already added. So from this end, what we're going to do from here is to select on the div itself. We don't want any image in the background, so just forfeit that. We don't want that. So forfeit that, and then we drop in our image element. So once we drop in our image element and select, we are going to deal with horizontal image sizes before we get to vertical. So you see image size here. What you need to do from here is to make sure that your image resolution is at full. Then go over to sizing. Here is where you need to play around a little. The height, you need to expand the height till you get to whatever height you want. You see, we got to this height and this is the highest this image is. 500 pixels is highest it can go, but we can stretch it even further. What do? We give it a height of 900. You see, it is stretched. Forget about the side that is skewed. We are going to deal with that in a little moment. Now, observe that when we expand this height, it automatically adjusts the element by the left. And this element, to control it, we want to put the content at the middle. To do that, select on the div guiding that content, select on this and make sure you click and set this to center. Automatically the element will be centered. But if you want it to be at the top, just hit it to the top. You can give it a little bit of padding to the top. Let's just give it a little bit of padding to the top to make things blend out a little. Okay, you can even give it padding all around, this same padding all around, 40 all around, so that the element will be centered and we get the padding from the top. I hope you get the point. But the issue we are having here, we are having this gap in between. So the gap, to fix the issue of the gap, we need to go select the container guiding everything, because this one we don't want to give that gap. Container guiding these two elements, this one, and we're gonna go to layout and we go to gap and make sure the gap is set to 0. Perfect. So that's clustered and we are good to go. So the next thing we need to do here is to adjust our image to make it look more responsive. As it is skewed and we don't want that. So what do you do from here? You go over to this place. It specifies for object fit. Select on that and make sure it is at cover. Automatically the image adjusts well. If you want to do further responsiveness, we could adjust the image the way we want. We can say center left. We can adjust it to center right. We can adjust it depending on where the base image we want to be aligned. And the best part of this is that in responsiveness, it works perfectly well. We can come over to this person and we make it center, and we come to the next responsiveness and we adjust it to whatever we want. Then we get to mobile. You're going to see that our image stands out as the size we give to it. You get the point? It stands out. So now here we can further eliminate this size, make it down to 500 pixels, and you see it adjust automatically. We can further reduce it to whatever size of image we want to adjust to what size we have from there. But originally, this is the size of the image. Okay, we can keep it at this, but if we want to extend it, we can extend it to whatever size we want. So responsiveness here is very easy doing it with the image element than doing it with the container. So when next you want to place an image full width to the left and content to the right, make sure you use an image element and play around with this. Before you find this object fit, you must make sure you adjust the height. If this height is not adjusted, you won't find that option. So make sure this height is adjusted and automatically the image fit will appear for you to deal with. Once again, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Do have a wonderful day.